right, looks like we're going live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Awesemo.com live before lock show, where we'll be taking you through the night's 8-game slate, all the hot MLB action that you can possibly handle. I'm Chris Spags, joined by the baseball savant, Jake Hari. Jake, how are you doing, Mr. Home Run Man?
Yeah, doing well. Hoping to get another one tonight. Been hot on the home run calls as of late, so just looking to ride this streak out and make some money along the way, hopefully. Make you guys some money. Just pick Christian Yelich every day, I guess.
Unfortunately, he is not on the slate, or maybe fortunately. But he's Jake is now in the lead in our Did He Dong Excel spreadsheet by, I think, 2 home runs. So, and Josh really trailing behind in last place, shamefully so. But yeah, it's been quite the turnaround for old Jakey, going with the same guy twice in the span of 2 weeks, and being right, which is the law of averages not on your side for that.
I don't know what to say. A couple good matchups, and it worked out. So he was one of my highest exposed players both days, and last night was a good night, and hopefully can keep that up here.
Yeah. So what are we doing tonight? If you're a premium member of Awesemo.com, Awesemo is actually traveling, so I don't believe we're gonna have an article from him today. But we do have the deep dive from Adam, and it's generally Adam or Laffy every day who are doing that. Some of our new FanDuel importees. And their article in there goes pretty deep on the slate there, so go check that out. It is a pretty helpful tool while you're kind of considering what to do for how to approach all this. But Jake, stack-wise, what are you doing tonight in terms of your lineups?
Yeah, so just as you were saying that, I'm trying to pull up Fantasy Cruncher. I think our connection's a little rough so far, so I'm just going to close as many tabs as possible here quick, and then we'll get to the stacks. All right, let's see here. Refresh those lineups. So Seattle and Oakland just came in. Are those ones that you were talking about before, or did I miss that?
Yeah, those had come out right before we started, I think. The only ones that we don't have right now are Colorado and Arizona.
Okay, cool. All right, Fantasy Cruncher's moving slow, or maybe just my Wi-Fi. All right. So I can just talk about. Oh, there we go. My top stacks are Houston, Colorado, Boston, the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks, actually. So it's kind of weird. I ended up on a lot less Yankees than I would have imagined. So that's a little bit worrisome, even though I love the matchup. We just saw crazy ownership this morning on them compared to some of these other teams, and maybe that's evened out a little bit in our last update, which just came out. But
it has not. It's only gotten worse.
Oh, okay. So they're going up even high. Yeah, like Luke Voigt, one of the highest owned players in the slate. I don't know about that. Interesting. I mean, I guess my night will ride and die with the Yankees. I still have another crunch to do once we get, hopefully, these last couple lineups in. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm heavy on Houston. I'm heavy on Boston and Colorado and the Dodgers. I'm always on the Dodgers, so didn't really need to ask about them. But yeah, it's going to be a fun one as long as the Yankees don't go nuts in the first couple innings.
I'm with you on Houston. The Yankees, I am not fading the Yankees. Look, ownership-wise, I fully get why. Liriano has been horrendous recently. Like, he has nothing left. The one thing that kind of worries me on that is Stanton. Stanton's been really pressing since he's had that 300th home run within range. And I kind of do feel like that is a spot where maybe you could fade him. Maybe just go to a 4-man stack, or you actually can't get to Neil Walker if you have Gleyber Torres in. But yeah, stacking against Liriano to me seems like the way to go. His last couple weeks has had a 2.43 whip, giving up home runs at an 8.3% rate. Just all the numbers really bad for Liriano. So even though I wanted to fade the Yankees and go a different route there, I had a really hard time with that. I don't know. I don't think you can fade the Yankees tonight, at least not entirely.
Yeah, no, I'm not entirely fading them, but it just looks like I'm going to be underweight. I don't see a bunch changing in my next crunch. Like right now, I have them at about 5% of my stacks, my main stacks. So it's still something. I mean, it obviously puts me behind if they're the stack you need. But I just think that I want to take advantage of these other teams that I think are in really good spots. Like we talked about the Red Sox against Giolito. Good steals matchup as well. They've got a bunch of speed in that lineup with Betts and Benintendi at the top. And then the Astros against Heaney, we talked about his hard contact against righties and how they're getting healthy, and people just aren't going to be on them as much. And some of these Yankees bats are going to be twice the ownership. I don't think they're twice as likely to be the high stone or the stack you need compared to the Astros, the Red Sox, and even the Dodgers too. Like, for as good as Ray is, when he's not missing bats, he gets in trouble with hard hits, can get wild at times, and a lineup that deep that's going to go unowned against a pitcher that gives up a lot of hard hits. The total's gone up a little bit. Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Dodgers too. I do have some of them as well. Ray in particular, his last couple of weeks has been kind of falling off a cliff. His chase rate's down to 23.7% from a usual a little under 30%. Swinging strike rate's down too. So I don't know what's wrong with Robbie Ray, but he's definitely been getting hit hard more than not lately. His ownership, I think, isn't a thing where it's a huge leverage point, but we have him projected to be 15% owned right now. So I think going against him, the Dodgers as a stack are pretty low owned. So I think you're right there. That is a spot that I would want to attack. What do you do with Justin Verlander? We discussed a little before we came on the air, but popular pitcher, highest priced guy on the slate.
Yeah, did not end up with as much Verlander as I wanted this morning. I still think he probably has the high ceiling of any pitcher. I just had so much Marquez and Musgrove and a little bit of Ray and Fulte, so Verlander's kind of the only guy in that price range. Right now I have 7%. I think that'll go up a little bit, around 10 or maybe to 15. But yeah, I still think he's a phenomenal play, but I honestly think Marquez could match him tonight. I think Fulte's got a decent chance to match him as well. And if things went really well for like Robbie Ray, I think he could plausibly do that as well. Like Robbie Ray could get 30 if he just lights out. So I don't know. I think you can fade him decently comfortably just because unless he gets 40 plus, you're probably fine fading Verlander.
Yeah, I think it's not a spot where I think I maybe have like a handful of Verlander lineups, not a ton tonight. His stuff too, kind of hitting a bit of a skid. His home runs are always a little higher than average, more than league average rather, that he gives up. But I think in particular, he's given up a lot more lately. 8.3% home run rate his last couple weeks. So actually, I think there are a couple of dangerous bats there. I mentioned to Jake before we came on the air. I think Ohtani's in an interesting spot. A couple guys have been touting him in the chat, but he's been on a really nice hot streak. I think Verlander's been giving up a lot of home runs relative to what he usually does. So I think that is kind of a spot where I wouldn't be surprised if his night gets blown up a little by by an Ohtani or somebody in that lineup. Yeah,
Verlander's a guy he's going to challenge you with fastballs, and Ohtani's a hell of a hitter, so that's probably the play I would go to if I'm targeting against Verlander. Maybe even over Trout. Trout has some really weird, I know we don't pay attention to BVP, but his BVP against Verlander is pretty alarming. So maybe it's just the pitches Verlander throws at their location. But yeah, he really has struggled against him in his career, and it's been a few years now. So a little bit worrisome for a guy like Trout that otherwise you'd love to play in this spot at really low ownership. So yeah, I think it would be Ohtani if I'm going against Verlander.
Yeah, Trout's been really good since he got back from his wrist injury, but yeah, I think overall for me, like going with a lefty, I think is a little bit better of an approach. Just even though it's not a huge split difference for Verlander, I think it is a little bit of a benefit. Who else is kind of going under the radar? Oh, somebody in the stack has said Detroit 2 through 4 hitters. Let's talk about Detroit and let's talk about J.A. Happ. Happ's been pretty nasty since he's been on the Yankees. His fastball and all his pitches actually rather seem to be moving better than they were before. His chase rate's up to 40%, which is pretty high. K per 9's up to 13.5. Are you stacking against Happ at all? He's pretty highly owned, or are you playing Happ straight away?
I'm not playing much Happ. I think I prefer Fulte in that range, and just the ownership that we're projecting for Happ is way too high, I think. When you've got other options in his range, I'd rather go down to Marquez or Musgrove and save a bunch of money, or I'd rather get up to Verlander, or I'd rather go to Fulte, I think, straight up. So I get the low total. That has a lot to do with the Yankees bullpen, I think. Like I said this morning, I don't know that there are a ton of strikeouts in this Tigers lineup, and there is some power, especially Castellanos. Really, really worries me. I know you shouldn't make a decision about a pitcher just because of one hitter, Otherwise, you'd never play guys against like the Angels and Trout. But I'm worried about Castellanos and Candelario and Goodrum to some extent. So that's enough for me to get off a really chalky J Happ.
The one thing, I mean, our ownership, to be honest, I don't fully get our ownership on this game. We have a lot of, like a fair amount of ownerships that whole Detroit stack going against Happ, but not to Castellanos for some reason, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't understand why, but more for me, I suppose.
Anyway. So I mean, it could be an algorithmic thing, but keep an eye out for updates if you are a premium member on our ownership rankings. But yeah, right now, to me, if the Detroit stack's going to be kind of highly owned, I don't see the leverage point with Happ. And I think Happ's been pretty good since getting on the roster. And obviously, with a lot of strikeouts on that Tigers side, and Happ's ball, his fastball, and his kind of all his pitches rather moving around well, I think that is a spot where I'd be more inclined to play Happ than to play the Tigers. But the Tigers stack isn't even cute if it's going to be all over 10% owned. That's not. Yeah,
it's gonna be mostly Castellanos for me. Like that's mostly Castellanos, and then those other two guys I mentioned will be sprinkled in like 2-man stacks because I'm rolling 5-2-1s tonight.
What was the other? Oh, somebody was asking about Rick Porcello, another guy who we had projected to be much higher owned at the beginning of the day, but now he's kind of leveled out to the same range. I guess like pretty much all the guys except Marquez are in the same kind of ownership range. What are you doing with Porcello tonight?
Did not end up there really either. So what'd you say his ownership was at? Yeah, 22%. So he's another one where I'd rather get down to Marquez. I'd rather get down to Fulte or get up to Fulte. It's just an ownership game. I have these pitchers kind of bunched together as far as projection, and I'm just playing the price and ownership game. Like I wouldn't be mad if Porcello ended up in a couple of lineups. I think he's somewhat safe, and he's going to get run support, but not the highest upside guy, and definitely not someone I want to play at chalk for almost 10K.
Yeah, I think he's a little pricier than I would like for a guy who doesn't get a ton of strike. I think he's an okay strikeout guy, but he's not really getting the movement you want to see from a guy who is a strikeout artist. And at that price, like you're right, we mentioned yesterday too, I like the Pirates pitchers, especially in this matchup versus the Cardinals. And Trevor Williams came through yesterday. I'm all over Joe Musgrove. I have a lot of Joe Musgrove, probably an uncomfortable amount. What drew you to him tonight, Jake?
Yeah, I've been on him since really last night. He was kind of the first guy that I thought was priced really reasonably. And Matt Adams in the lineup kind of hurts him a little bit just because lefty power he struggles with a little bit. And Carpenter in the lineup, but a bunch of righties. Your buddy, Sexy Muscles, Tyler O'Neill. Like
striking out higher Sexy Muscles.
Exactly. Like Bader, same thing. Pitcher spot, DeJong. I know that lineup is pretty rough for strikeouts, and just it's a really good matchup for Musgrove besides Adams and Carpenter. So a couple landmines, but on this slate, I think it's hard to do better in this range than Musgrove. And honestly, like who else are you gonna play in this range? LeBlanc or Montas? Like he's fine, I guess, but you're not playing Montas because he's been good. You're playing him because of the park and just because he's cheap. So yeah,
the Montas love is not one I've been on, though, as it has we actually earlier in the day had his ownership, I would say fairly high, not super high, but definitely higher than it is now. And with that and the team total, like I was kind of away from him, but now that his ownership is under 10%, look, I'm not happy about it, but I could see there's a case to play Montas. I mean, Cano's been bad since getting off the DL, or off the suspension list, rather. The lefties in there aren't, unbeatable. Kyle Seager's been pretty terrible this whole year. I think Montas's weaknesses versus lefties and the lefties on Seattle aren't terrifying, so I can see going to Montas in limited doses.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I capped him at, I think, 10%. So if Montas ends up in my lineups, I mean, I would never play him in a single entry in this spot. It's just because I'm MMEing. Same thing why I ended up with like a sprinkle of John Gant and LeBlanc. I just can't eliminate too many of these pitchers. So it's not because I think they're good plays at all.
One guy I did eliminate, and I'm not really sure there's a very sound reason why, and most people seem to have eliminated too. John Gant. Not playing any John Gant today, and if we're playing all these dog shit guys, is there maybe something wrong in not playing John Gant?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong. Like he's near the top of my list for these guys. Right, like you said, they're all bad. Or they're all not great plays. So why are we playing the higher owned, not good plays? You know what I'm saying? So if everybody's paying for the same garbage, you might as well get the low owned guy and hope he puts up a 20 spot randomly. So I'm just kind of spreading it around when I'm getting below Musgrove.
We also just got another ownership update in. If you are a premium member of Osmo.com, all of the little data points that we reference, which help you kind of build lineups to get away from the large groups of people who are going to be owning Marquez and his cohorts. You got to be a premium member. Go check that out. Go check all of our ownership projections. Let me see if there's anything interesting.
I ended up with, I'm still doing another crunch, but I capped Marquez, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get to this every time I run a crunch, but I capped Marquez at 75%. So
still a lot of Marquez.
A lot of Marquez. I know he's going to be chalk. I know he's going to be 30+% in most tournaments, probably at higher stakes, probably more like 50. But yeah, I just think he's that good of a play, and I think he's underpriced and just looks incredible, and a bunch of righties in there. So yeah, I'm all over him, as I was this morning.
In our most recent update, Marquez actually now not the highest owned pitcher. So something's changed with the math of that.
Wow.
It is now Porcello.
Yeah. That's clear for me who I would want to go with there. Even without price. Like even if they were the same price, I would still go with Marquez.
I think I would probably be more inclined to go there, but I think it's hard to. I mean, not that the Padres are great or anything, but I think they've had moments of hitting recently, which has been intimidating, whereas the White Sox have not quite been as good. Really, only Ryan Lamar has been good for them recently.
Sure. So just a note on the Diamondbacks lineup. I don't think we were expecting this, but Steven Souza is leading off for 3,400, and then Pollock's only 4,100. Then Goldschmidt, like 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty interested in. If you're running out like 4-3-1s or something, I think that's a really fun 3-man stack. Late night hammer against Rich Hill, who's giving up almost 50% hard contact to righties on the season. I know a lot of that's probably skewed from early in the season when he just wasn't right, but kind of like how that Diamondbacks lineup sets up at the top.
I like Rich Hill. I mean, I don't have the bias of whatever made people hate him last year as much, but I think he's been more good than not this year. And I feel like people always are kind of reluctant to play him. I'd be more inclined to play him. Well, maybe not, but I'm at least as equally inclined to play him as Porcello or any of those other guys in that price range. I think Hill's in a pretty good spot, and that total too definitely makes me think it's not going to be a good Diamondbacks night. They haven't been great lately.
Rich Hill blows. I mean, I don't know that Rich Hill blows.
See, there you go. A lot of people get mad at Rich Hill. I don't feel that way about him. He hasn't burned me like that.
Maybe from the blister starts, maybe people are angry. Which is understandable, but what's the guy going to do? You can't control when he gets blisters. I don't think Rich Hill's the highest upside option. That's why I don't have much of him at all. But I actually like some bats against him. I like kind of bats on both sides. And then if I'm going to a pitcher in that game, Arizona-LA, it's Robbie Ray. Just because he's cheap, people aren't going to be on him. It's a decent pivot away from Marquez. Like, he's got insane swing and miss stuff. Even against a team that doesn't strike out a lot, you could see a scenario where Ray goes and gets 8 strikeouts here. I think that's in his range of possibilities. Now, I'm also on the other side a ton. Like, I have a bunch of Dodgers stacks as well. Like I said, they're just way too deep of a team. If they get Ray in trouble, could be a pretty quick outing for him. But I'm just hoping for a high variant outcome, one side or the other there.
I think for me, I would go Hill by a pretty large margin too. I think Ray's a pretty okay pitcher, but in this matchup, he has a lot of guys with home run power who also make good contact. I mean, just a bunch of professional hitters on the righty side. I wish they had Grandal on the lineup instead of 13.4% swinging strike rate his last couple weeks. 12 Ks per 9, 3.37 xFIP. If you compare that to Ray, who's been kind of losing his stuff, I think Hill is a better play versus a worse team too. Like, I just think the Dodgers are a better team than the Diamondbacks. So I don't know. I like Hill, but I might be alone on that island.
All right. What else we got? What else we got?
People doing either ors. We'll do either ors later, and we'll get to home runs as well in 5 minutes. So that's our staple. Got to ride Jake's hot streak while you can. But no Christian Yelich safety pillow to fall back on.
Yeah, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to pick a different player. Chris Davis is on the slate.
Yelich, Chris Davis is there, though. He is there.
He is there. He is there. I think I already got mine, though. I'm eyeing him down, so we'll see.
Kevin Lane built a lineup. His lineup is a 2.87 GPA. That's in range. You're passing Kevin Lane. I don't know if actually I haven't seen myself get an A in any of those lineups in our lineup creator, but if you are a premium member, we do have that as well now. A lineup builder, which is linked on the site on awesemo.com on the homepage. So go check that out. Basically, it's not like a mass multi-entry lineup builder like it is on some of the other sites. It's more using the tools and the ownership that we have to build a lineup that gets a grade. And ideally, I think you're going to be making more lineups by hand with that. But overall, it's a good way to get a read on the slate, see where you're going, check how chalky you're going with your approach. It's a good tool to kind of throw into the mix. So go check it out on our homepage at awesemo.com.
Yep, it's still free for the next couple days, Tom says. So
there you go. So it's still free for now. So go check it out. Everybody, you don't even need to be premium. Go to MLB.
Feel free to give us feedback. Give us your likes, dislikes. We're open to criticism or praise, of course. What else?
If you want to go directly there, it's mlb.lineups.awesemo.com. So 2 subdomains, but if you go there, you can go check it out, go play around with it. It does FanDuel and DraftKings. So go check it out for free before it goes behind the paywall.
Here, I'll link it right now.
Oh, there you go. Even better. What a professional operation we have here.
There you go. Click on that. You can bookmark that. And then if you're premium, you can just put that in the bookmarks, make some lineups quick. We will have it for NHL, which I'm pretty excited about because I hand build a lot for NHL. Transaction. Chris Stewart has been traded to the Diamondbacks. Oh, God. I didn't know that guy was still in the league.
Everyone reset your lineups.
Yeah.
Take Chris Stewart out.
Chris Stewart's, he plays in the NHL, too. Jeez.
As always, we take 1 cash question per show because we don't like playing cash. It is our segment, 1 cash question. It's actually not a segment, but I think it should be. David Oakes asking Polanco or Henninger for cash. Well, who would you go with, Jake?
Polanco. Yeah, I'd go Polanco.
I would also go Polanco. I think Polanco's in a pretty good spot. I like the lefties actually in that Pirates matchup tonight.
Yeah, me too. I think we talked about it this morning how much regression we think Gant has coming against lefties. Just an insane hard hit rate and low BABIP. He's getting squared up all the time, and so yeah, that one's pretty easy to better park. I mean, it's not perfect in St. Louis, but it's pretty tough to hit in Oakland. So that's an easy one for me.
Why do you not like playing cash? To me, based on what I've known of previous generation, at least in other sports, I've never tried MLB cash. But in other sports, the edge that you've had in cash games isn't really there quite as much, and that's why a lot of the top players you see have kind of moved towards a more GPP-based approach for the kind of ROI that you're looking for. So at least for NBA in particular, I never play cash. For NFL, I stopped playing cash. I just don't see the point in just guessing chalk and trying to beat them by margins when I'd rather, it's just not as fun for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think I will play some cash in NHL just to try to outweigh the variance a little bit. And the guys on the PGA show kind of talked about that a little bit. Or not the PGA show, the Andrew and Ben show. So tune into that, 2:30 Eastern, Monday through Friday. They'll be talking various topics. PGA, they talk about quite a bit. But when there's no PGA, they'll talk about college football and a bunch of other cool topics and just kind of random stuff. So it was a fun show today, and make sure you tune in tomorrow. So
it is 6:30 Eastern. That means it's time. Jake, you are in the catbird seat. You are the leader of our internal home run derby. So go ahead. Also, we didn't point out before, Alex Awesemo, better known as our boss, best known as Awesemo, but better known to us as our boss. He did pick Tommy Pham correct too. So it is just Josh and I who are struggling right now, losing to the Jake Monster, but Alex got his pick, and in fact was at the top of some tournaments with Tommy Pham for a while there. So that is a pick that was fully backed by his actual lineups. Jake, give us your pick for the day.
All right, so The lineup's not out yet, but I was going with Nolan Arenado. Is that cheating? Nolan Arenado against a lefty? I mean, he's just such a lock. It's not in Coors,
I
so.
don't think anything is cheating. You could pick Stanton, and I wouldn't think it was cheating.
Okay. Well, if you pick Stanton, we might have to redo this.
I am not going to pick Stanton. Stanton's actually, I don't think Stanton's looked good. I don't think he's looked right since he's been going for his 300th home run, and I think the stats back that out. So I want to see him do it before I'm back fully on him. I do have him in stacks, but I wouldn't want off Stanton tonight personally. But I am going to take a Yankee just because I think Liriano's that bad. I'm going to go with Gleyber Torres, who's been raking lately. He had a cold streak. He's kind of figured it out. So, Team Gleyber.
Nice. Wait.
Ohtani is the number 2 pick, though. I do think Ohtani has a pretty good shot of busting up Verlander's day, but it's mostly Torres.
Yeah, that's fair. So you're picking Yankees in Yankee Stadium against the lefty.
I mean, it's not cheating, though.
You guys are really trying to catch me, aren't you?
It's just a matchup.
I was literally down like 5 home runs like 3 weeks ago. And now I'm just on top of the world. Now you guys are going to take chalk guys while I'm taking guys in Petco. It's all right.
I'm not getting talked off my pick. I make the pick that comes to heart. Sometimes it's one where I'm trolling Josh or Josh is trolling me. But I guess I got to take the guys I believe in. I have a ton of Gleyber today, so.
That's fair. No, I get that. Wait, who said Pinder pivot? He's not even in the lineup.
Yeah, no Pinder. Pinder's out of the
you got me excited there for a second. I was like, was it someone scratched? Because if you're going to a low-owned guy on Oakland for a dong, that's cheap. Mark Canha, I like a lot. But that is not my official pick. There you go. Josh picked Chris Davis. He's trying to get some of my sloppy seconds or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he swapped T. McBee's pick. Just took it right out of T. McBee's hands. People are talking about the lineup feature. Garrett likes the lineup feature. Yeah, the lineup builder. What else do we got? Oh, there's one thing. Why can't Osmo give us a pick every day? Osmo was playing a lot of volume every day. This time right now, 6 to 7 Eastern is incredibly valuable to him. So for him to come on even once a week playing the type of volume he does is very generous of him. It's not like this show is at 9 in the morning, like when Josh and I have the show, but that'd be a different story. But this time is incredibly valuable. He's got to be paying attention to any sort of late scratches or anything weird going on with weather. So that's why. Long answer, yes, but
he has to pay our salary by winning at this. So that's why we don't.
We don't want him on. Yeah.
No, let the man focus, you greedy bastards. Osmo is also he's traveling. I think he's getting a little actual time off this week, so just doing some projections and stuff on the side. But I don't know if he's playing as much as he is either. I don't know. Let's see. Tyler White is the GOAT. Tyler White. Let's talk about the Houston stack some more because I like them a lot. You like them a lot. We kind of blew by them. Houston. What guys are popping off to you the most in that Astros stack against Heaney?
The usual suspects. So the guys we play when Houston's healthy. Bregman I love, and I don't think many people will play him at his price, $5,500. Altuve, Correa, Springer right behind him, and then Tyler White kind of in that second tier as well. I think I prefer him over Yuli. Gurriel. Gurriel has not hit lefties well this year. I'm not saying I won't have Gurriel exposure because I certainly will, but the Astros are kind of sneaky expensive. I'm coming to find out just when I'm starting to put pitchers in. So you're gonna have. That's why I like Musgrove too and Marquez. I really like that pairing, and they allow you to fit in a full Astros stack. So really those top 5, but I'll mix in really 6 through 9 as well. Like a bunch of those guys.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Bregman to me is actually one of my favorite plays on the slate tonight. Going against Heaney, who's struggled versus righties, gives up a lot of hard contact and power to righties, and Bregman's just been really good. I mean, the last couple games, he's had a 607 on-base percentage, been creating a ton of runs. So I think to me, Bregman is actually one of the better plays, and his dual position eligibility is probably a good asset too, with the shortstop being kind of a dead zone tonight. Maybe not dead zone, not the strongest. Yeah. But Tyler White too, I think, is a great part of that stack. He's been really good as part of this Astros hot streak. Springer's been good. He's been getting better since he got back from the disabled list. I think Altuve as well. Like, they have a lot of guys in that lineup who can do damage. So I think it's gonna be a long night for Heaney. That's also why I'm not on Heaney at all.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not on Heaney either. I think let me confirm this quick, but I think I X'd him out of my player pool. Just so I didn't get any of him. I think it's a really, really tough matchup for him. Yeah, I X'd him out. So I X'd out 5 guys. So I can just say that now. Liriano, Montgomery, Giolito, Heaney, and Lauer.
Somebody missed your pick. Yeah,
Arenado.
Zach Harper is correct. Jake did say Arenado. Jake picked this guy. I don't know what you're missing there, Kunal.
Yeah, give us a like, by the way, if you're in here and you like the show. I mean, you don't have to if you don't like it, but why would you not like the show?
No, if you're using us for free, regardless of whether you like it or not, just throw us a like. It's just called common courtesy. We live in a society. If you're watching our content, give us some part of that exchange. We don't get a ton of ad money from YouTube, so a like is the currency that we appreciate.
Tigers today. You wanna talk about the Tigers?
Yeah. So we touched on the Tigers before. I would have liked the Tigers if they weren't as highly owned as they are, but our ownership has them as a stack owned more than 10%. So no like for them. I would rather go Hap, even though he's also going to be pretty highly owned.
Yeah, I think it could be like like people think they're being contrarian stacking against J.A. Happ, whereas all of a sudden they're over 10% on a pretty sizable slate. It's 8 games. Like, I'm just not interested in stacking the Tigers if they're going to get any sort of ownership. Like, if Happ was going to be 50% and none of these guys in the Tigers were going to be owned, then okay. But yeah, not if anybody's going to flirt with 10%. Give me another Dodger stack. Give me another Astro stack. Give me another Oakland stack even. Like, there's just so many other places I'd rather go than a full stack against a good pitcher and the Yankees bullpen.
Yeah, I agree with that. Projected ownerships, Tony Cantillo. I know a place where you can go get all the projected ownerships, and that is at awesemo.com, where premium members get access to every single ownership projection that we have to offer. So go sign up there and go check it out. So that's where you get it. It's the only place on the internet.
So no Colorado lineup just yet. They must be deciding someone who's hurt on Colorado or who might be out, because that's usually when this is the case. Colorado's usually good at getting their lineup out.
I don't know. I feel like everybody's healthy and available for the most part. I mean, the catcher, I think, is one thing that they don't fully have figured out, maybe, but because they sent down Tom Murphy, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Is it Blackman? Blackman must be out. Blackman. Okay, so I didn't see what happened to Blackman.
Okay.
Yeah, Montgomery has no K upside. I agree, Sean B.
Blackman's been playing well. I would keep him in, even though it's against the lefty.
Well, he usually plays every day, but he must be hurt or something. Or ill.
People are asking about Mike Montgomery. He is one pitcher that we did not touch on. What are you doing with Mike Montgomery tonight? He's at a price which might be appealing to some people, but coming off the disabled list, coming off of I think he closed one game for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go very deep, and he doesn't get swings and misses. I think he has like a 14% K percentage on the season. And then Atlanta doesn't really have any strikeouts in their lineup. Camargo hits lefties well. Acuna, we know about what Acuna can do in that leadoff spot, or really anywhere. They've got Duvall in there, and there's just too many righties, and then even the lefties in there, Freeman and Markakis, don't strike out and hit lefties for power in Freeman's case, and just a good hitter in Markakis' case.
A couple of questions about a Braves stack in general. We didn't really touch on them as hitters. What are you doing with the Braves tonight? Do you have any exposure to them stack-wise?
I do have exposure to them stack-wise, but they're kind of in that second tier of teams. So I'll just run down my stacks once again. It's Houston, it's Boston. Those are the top two. Then kind of the next tier is Colorado and LA and Arizona, and then Atlanta is in the next tier after that. So I think I have 13% 5-man Atlanta stacks right now.
Yeah, I didn't have a ton of full Atlanta stacks. I have a little bit of Camargo. and a little bit of Suzuki, just because Suzuki, catcher, I think is kind of a dumpster fire tonight. So I think Suzuki made sense to me, but yeah, I didn't get there full stack wise. I kind of avoided that matchup for the most part. I think overall, I don't really know why, but the Cubs have been good, so I didn't really want to go with Foltynewicz. And Atlanta's been kind of up and down, so I didn't want to go with them against Montgomery, so I kind of just took neither side.
Yeah. Okay.
Jake, why no Yankees? Are they too chalky for you?
I think ownership and just other teams are getting ignored. Like my projections and just my process going through the slate, I don't love the bottom of that lineup with Robinson and Higashioka and Gardner, lefty. Not that it matters. I think they could get Liriano out early. Like I love Hicks and Stanton, but everybody loves those guys, and Torres too. But everybody loves those guys. So most of my Yankees exposure is going to come with the 2-man stacks, where while everyone else is stacking up the 5-mans and they're getting in these what I think are poor parts of the stack, like Robinson and Higashioka and Walker. I'm not crazy about. I'll try to have some lineups where I have 2-mans and it's Hicks and Stanton, or Hicks and Torres, or Stanton Torres, and those are the 2 guys that hit home runs, and the rest of the stack as a whole kind of stays quiet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the thing to me, like I do have some 3-man Yankees with Stanton, Andujar, and Torres, or Hicks, Andujar, and Torres, because I do think Voigt's a little overowned for the player that he is. He's had an amazing month, but obviously that doesn't last forever. I do like Voigt though. I am still playing a fair amount of it, but I think he is a fadeable part of that. But yeah, no, I get where you're going. I think overall though, because of how bad Liriano is, people in the chat saying Liriano's a gas can. I don't know. I think the 1 through 5 for the Yankees for me, just because of that reason, doesn't matter if they're cold, doesn't matter whatever. Doesn't matter their price. Like Liriano's been so bad. I feel like I wanted to get there and get there heavily.
All right, that's fair. I mean, I think if you're going in on the Yankees, you want to make a big stand. And that's fine. I think they're a perfectly fine play. They have a near 6 total. I don't think they're bad plays at all. I just think I want to be near the field or over the field on just a few guys and kind of under the field on the 5-man stack, if that makes sense. I like to do that with really chalky teams where I don't love all the parts.
Yeah, I agree. I think that approach does make sense, especially when they're going to be that chalky. Try to take the best pieces of it and get away from it. Tom points out in the chat, our COO, better known as Tom JK, 3-2-1 in all the tournaments. So when you see him breezing by you, you'll know why. But we do have our latest ownership, or I guess our last ownership update for the slate out. And there are some changes. Marquez is back to the highest owned pitcher, and Luke Voigt, position player of the day. So, yikes.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of Luke Voigt. I'm definitely not fading him enough.
I'm limiting his exposure right now. Like I can't do that. I don't want more than like 10% of that.
It's tough. Liriano's so bad. Like to me, he's so bad that like I normally am like whatever. There's 7 other games. I can go somewhere else. Liriano just grades out to me to be the worst pitcher on the slate by like such a wide margin that I can't get away from him with this Yankee stack.
No, I get that. All right, Voigt's probably the best value at first base, but does he have a 30% chance of being even like a top 3 first baseman tonight in terms of lineup construction? Like we've got Matt Carpenter against Musgrove. I think that's a good matchup. We've got Bell against John Gant. I think that's a good matchup. Like there's Tyler White for the Astros. There's Goldschmidt against a lefty who's going to get no ownership. Freeman against a guy who is going to let him put the ball in play. There's just so many other options where someone's 30% and the stack's chalky. Like what percent of Yankee stacks are going to have Voigt in it? Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to go in on a player like that. And if he dongs, he dongs. And if the Yankees go off, I'm going to lose a lot of money tonight, but
that's life in the fast lane.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. I do think, though, that, based on our ownership projections, I think Gleiber is a part of the stack where people don't seem to be getting to enough, and that's why I'm all over Gleiber today. I'm very all over Gleiber, both with my home run pick and lineup-wise. People forget about Gleiber, and I think people are still thinking he's kind of riding that rookie wall cold streak, but he's been nasty lately. I like Gleiber a lot.
I like
if you want to differentiate.
Yeah.
Gets a Gleiber. The Colorado lineup is out, and I guess I mean, to be honest, I was just guessing, but it is a catcher thing. They switched out Ionetta, and Tony Walters is in. So nice lefty-lefty catcher matchup for him.
That sucks. Walters sucks. He's so bad. But whatever.
Walters best.
It's not going to make me get off. Like, I'm not going to get off the Rockies just because Ionetta's not in. But it was a nice little boost. Another catcher that I thought had a good matchup. So, whatever.
What was the home run pick? Justin Jennings, our home run picks were the reigning current champion, Jake, picked Nolan Arenado. Josh picked Chris Davis because he just loves getting the sloppy seconds that Jake offers up. I chose... Actually forgot who I chose now. I chose Gleyber Torres, of course. The guy I talked about for a minute just now. And that's it. Those were our picks.
Yeah, I'm limiting all the Yankees exposure manually to the guys at the bottom. If I'm going in on a full Yankee stack, I want it to be the top parts of it.
No Osmo article today. Cesar asked. Unfortunately, Osmo is traveling, so he's taking a little vacation time, I believe. So we have other people filling in and doing some of his ownership and stuff. And no, he's not doing articles for I think a few days, but he'll be back pretty shortly. Brilliant strategy for the bottom of the Rockies lineup. Yeah, no, the Rockies really seem to be throwing this game based on their lineup.
I mean, they move Cargo down. I like that. You're never gonna not hit Blackman leadoff, or at least they don't. I mean, you can make a case for LeMahieu to hit leadoff, but Blackman can hit lefties fine.
Who would you play for Michael L? Who would you play since Ionetta is out?
Since Ionetta is out, well, I mean, if you have a full Colorado stack, Walters may not be the best hitter, but if he makes your lineup get more correlation, there's always like a case for that. Like if he completes the 5-man stack, even if he's maybe not the best hitter, he's still correlated to the rest of your guys in your lineup, and has a chance at more at bats if your stack's going off.
Yeah, great.
I can't remember what was Ionetta's price point. 3,600.
3,600, 3,500.
So you can go down to Sandy Leon. I think he'll be somewhat popular. 2,800 against Giolito. You can go to Gaddis, or not Gaddis. Maldonado. I like him, but he's kind of expensive for 3,600. No Gaddis in that lineup. Man, what are these teams doing?
I'm playing a lot of Maldonado too, and I don't love it, but maybe it's some revenge narrative. I don't think we have that in baseball or any sport really.
But, basketball there is, right? Because they got the ball in their hands.
But it's questionable whether it really exists. I think but whatever. Maldonado again going against the Angels. I think it's fine. Going against Heaney, Brady matchup, sure. In
basketball, isn't that more like if you kind of know the guy's personality and you know, like, all right, is this guy like a vengeful guy? Is he like, was there a falling out with his old team? Was he mad about not getting offered more money from his old team and stuff? Like, couldn't you read into that a little bit more than other sports? Like in baseball, we talk about it. Like, you can't try to hit a ball harder and be any more successful than you would have been otherwise.
The Rockets GM, Daryl Morey, said that he thinks that there are some players, I mean, a lot of players especially, play against Houston extra hard when they leave, like if they don't get, re-signed or they get traded for some reason, in part because the guys love Houston strip clubs so much. And Corey Brewer actually was the one who proved that theory a couple times last year. He was on the Lakers, and he just had, I think he had two crazy games, one where he was a spot starter, one where he came off the bench and just shot way more than he usually did, rebounded more, played more defense. So it's certainly something, but it's not something you can point to, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you see it in the NBA. The guys, maybe not everyone's giving 100% effort the entire game, maybe the first half or so. So you could rack up some extra points if you want to make your stat line twist the knife a little bit into your former team. I think going after rebounds harder. So this doesn't have anything to do with baseball, but whatever. It's a Thursday slate. We can go off topic a little bit.
Yeah, we did enough. We've covered everything ad nauseum. Would you go Molina or Maldonado to close out Michael L's many catcher issues?
I would go Maldonado. Yeah, I really like the Astros.
Yeah, I would still go Maldonado just because I think I like that stack a lot tonight, and I definitely have more Maldonado than I do Molina, and I love Joe Musgrove too much to go against him.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
That's going to be the words that we die by tonight.
Speaking of Musgrove, the guy on the other side, you guys like Gant today for DK tourneys. You want to go?
I do not like Gant. I think there's a logic to playing him. We talked about it a little earlier, where everybody's playing a bunch of shitty pitchers in that same price range, but people aren't playing Gant. So I think from that perspective, it's okay. But I think Gant's been worse than he seems, and I think Pittsburgh's actually been better than he seemed. So no Gant for me.
A little bit of Gant for me, and it's just because I'm splitting my exposure to those guys down there. Like Montas and Gant aren't super highly owned, but I don't want to make a huge stand on either one of them. Although I guess I'm over the field on both just because I have so much Marquez, so much Musgrove, a little bit of Ray, and then kind of like it kills me to say, but I'm ending up on way less Verlander than I wanted, and more Fulte.
Ooh. Yeah, look, I've been off of Verlander this whole day, for the most part, so I'm with you on that. One thing about Gant, too, Gant pretty bad versus lefties and gives up, as Jake mentioned earlier, ton of hard contact, 54.4% hard contact to lefties. And Frazier, Polanco, and Colin Moran actually, that stack actually does look kind of nice, at least a 4-man.
For sure.
Maybe if you want to throw Cervelli in, too. But yeah, I think that is a matchup to capitalize on the other side, at least to me. Not that the team total is anything scary, but I like the Pirates. The Pirates are pretty good.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh bats cold lately. No, they've been pretty hot. I think Moran, Polanco, Frazier in particular have been pretty hot lately.
Yeah. I feel like, well, no, actually, against righties, they've been pretty poor over the last month. I know in terms of like WRC plus and stuff like that. I just like to look at this, like how teams have been against both-handedness over the last month. And Pittsburgh's actually not been great.
Interesting. I know they've played well within their last few games, which is what I kind of adjusted my chart to reflect. It's relative to their season total. So like Frazier's been hot. His last couple outings he's had getting on base 435, 8.7% home run rate. Moran's been getting on base 470. Cervelli's been getting on base 400. So I mean that's sort of what I'm looking at more. Polanco 440 and a 4% home run rate. So I think the lefty matchup versus Gant is what I would go with, but yeah, if Jake, if it's a longer period sample size there, maybe they're not as good as they seem recently. Is Freeman chalk? Freeman's a guy whose ownership has kind of fluctuated today. I don't know if he's chalk, but he's still pretty highly owned for a first baseman in a non-super popular stack.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call him chalk, but he's gonna. I mean, lefty. He can hit lefties fine, and like I said, Montgomery's gonna let you put the ball in play. So I don't have an issue with Freeman. I'd probably right around the field, around like 12 to 15%. So, no, I don't. He's not Luke Voit chalk. Luke Voit is the chalk at first base, and I'm not with that.
There we go. We have our final ownership in with Colorado. So, you want to take one last look for premium members. We have a lock in 10 minutes coming up, but get a little more plus EV with some more ownership updates that are in there now. Good. All right. Check. I'll load ownership while we do this and see if there's anything noteworthy. People just declaring. Also, Aaron Rasmussen, Spags, not Pags. I know it's confusing on my handle because it has two S's in my row. It is Spags.
Pags.
Didn't FanVice have a premium chat? Maybe Tom will have a different answer to that, but I think that there will be some changes to the whole chat games coming soon. There is still like Slack for the FanVice people, but there are people behind the scenes trying to figure out how to integrate everybody and the best way to do that. So hopefully, Kevin Zoe, there'll be a chat for all people of all sides coming soon. Giolito's a guy we didn't talk about much today, who I have enough of to be pretty uncomfortable with. But Giolito, a lot of people saying that he's turned it around. I think the numbers kind of back up that he's at least gotten lucky recently. What are you doing with Giolito?
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, he's whatever. He looks better as of late, but this is a really, really poor matchup for him. Right, he's against Boston. I know it's not in Fenway, but he struggles with allowing stolen bases, and they've got a lot of speed and power. Yeah, I think he comes down to earth. Like he was doing these last couple starts against Detroit twice and Minnesota, so not exactly lighting the world on fire against the Yankees or the Astros or anyone like that.
Yeah, I think he's looked better recently, and I'm playing him a little tonight just to be contrarian because I think the Sox bats are maybe not as strong as they might appear on paper. I think, you know, that's at least that's my hope. But yeah, I think Giolito's maybe, I don't know if he's turned a corner, and I admit I'm a little always early to declare a guy has turned the corner. But I think Giolito's figured it out a little bit where he's playable. I wouldn't go nuts on him tonight, though. But price-wise, you know, I totally get it. If he gets you 10 points and you can pay for the bats, then I think that makes sense. As a one-off, Polanco or Cruz. If you want to get your either-ors in, we're now in the final 10 minutes. So get them in. We'll answer them. As a one-off, Polanco or Cruz, who would you like for a DK tournament? For me, I would probably go Polanco tonight.
Yeah, man, I think I would go Polanco. Yeah, I think I would go Polanco.
I like Cruz if you're going to stack that way. If you're going to stack Mariners, I think he's a good part of that. But Polanco as a one-off, I think, is a more logical play versus Gann. Moran or Seager? Who would you go with? Seager's been pretty terrible lately, so I don't know. I would probably go Moran again. I don't want to pick all Pirates for the either-ors, but I'd probably go Moran.
I mean, it's just such a good matchup for the Pirates lefties. I don't know that the Pirates lefties are fantastic or anything, but Polanco for sure, and Bell I like. Moran's okay, but like you said, Seager hasn't been great either. And I mean, what's his name? Moran's in a better hitting environment, so I guess I'll go Moran.
It's tough. Those are two tough Pirates Mariners ones, and I'm kind of surprised to go Pirates for both, but I think it makes sense. Is Musgrove going to be low owned tonight? He's not going to be low owned, unfortunately, but he's going to be highly owned by Jake and I, or Jake and me.
Let's see. What do we have him projected at? I mean, we got him around 10%, so.
Oh, did it go down in the latest update?
Yeah.
He was 17 before that. I didn't load this other one. Musgrove. Yeah, he's still 16% now, so still some people behind him, but
oh, I didn't refresh.
Yeah, on the final ownership projections, he's 16%. So there you go. You guys get that one for free. You get all the hot Joe Musgrove ownership takes for free. Very low owned on FanDuel. That's possible. I don't have FanDuel open, and I'll be damned if I open it up for you, Stephen J. No, okay.
Zach Carpenter, I like it. Oh, you're asking which one? I think I would go Houston. Yeah, I think I would go Houston.
I too would go Houston there. Houston. You know what though? I'm not crazy about Correa tonight for whatever reason, but I think I do like Houston more than the Dodgers tonight. Oh, yeah. Haitham Khalil wants to get beers with you, Jake, and you can show him your ways. You want to go on Man Dave?
My ways? I don't know.
That could be sexy. Could be a. Didn't say about DFS.
Yeah. I have to hear what the ways are, but.
Jake, you got to get those premium memberships in. You got to start sleeping with clients.
Oh, jeez.
It's a tough world out there. Zach Carpenter's leading towards Houston. That's what I currently have. I think you should lead towards Houston. I think the Dodgers stack is good versus Ray. I have no issue with that. Or not good, but definitely a playable one. But Houston is to me very good. Camargo or Semien as a one-off?
Camargo. What would you say there?
I'd probably go Camargo too. Oh, there, Camargo or Semien on DK.
Wait, did the same person ask that or no?
Different people.
Oh, geez.
Apparently a popular issue.
All right, yeah. I mean, it would be Camargo there too. Same thing for you, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only playing DK anyway, so for me, it's always probably gonna be.
Captain Jank says Walker over Voit for Yankees. I mean, that's definitely a way to differentiate your stack. If you play Walker in the first base slot on DK, and I like doing that when there are two options. You take the lower owned one if they're similar and hope it goes your way. Exact same price.
Polanco or Springer for a FanDuel GPP?
Polanco?
Off in a team that I love to stack up, so I think that's hard to pass up. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke. Come on.
Yeah, Coke too.
Is that even close?
There are people who like Pepsi more, I've learned, which is weird. It's different acidity tastes.
All right. That's fine.
Not for me. Who's your best catcher on DK?
Best catcher on DK. going with a lot of. I'm going with a lot of. What's his name? Sandy Leone for the Red Sox, just because he's cheap. I don't really love catcher tonight.
Yeah, I've got a lot of Maldonado just because of that stack, and a lot of Suzuki when I had money left over, because I actually started my day building lineups with a ton of Grandal, and when he was out, that kind of ruined it. So Barnes, Maldonado for me. Coke tastes like liquid cinnamon to me. It's weird. Josh being a Pepsi guy. I bet Josh is also a big Surge soda guy and like fucking mellow yellow and weird shit. So I don't know if we can trust his soda takes. Goldschmidt or Bregman? Who would be the better one? Bregman to me by a lot.
Bregman, yeah.
Betts or JD if you're playing Red Sox outfielders?
Betts. More stolen base upside.
I'd probably go Betts too. I love JD, but I think Betts. I think you're right with that. Will there be an Osmo Univ in the future, Earl? You mean like a university or a universe? Like Marvel universe, where we all exist in different ways?
Like what is that? Oh, they had that for FanDuel, right?
I don't know what that is.
Where they did like, I think it's like a meetup, probably. I have no clue. Hopefully.
Sure. As long as you guys promise to treat us like famous people and not like normal human beings, I would do a meetup, sure.
No, definitely.
Treat us like rockstar.
Definitely treat us like normal people, because I am a normal person. Someone recognized me last night at the Minnesota State Fair.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was kind of.
What did they say? Were they? I mean, usually people who meet you, obviously, like from working at Barstool, I had enough of that happen before. People are usually pretty nice. Definitely not as mean as they are on social media.
Well, he was like connected. My girlfriend's friend. He was like friends with her boyfriend. So there was a little bit of a connection there, but we hadn't met before.
Gosh, they weren't just a random YouTube guy who's.
No, that would have been nuts. Just someone scoping me out of the crowd.
How do you come up with the grades, or who does the grading? Osmo does the grades, and there's a formula that goes into creating them, and they're tied to his projections. So on this channel, Jake's fucking married, basically, so he's not cool anymore.
No ring.
Let's see. University, Osmo University. You mean like a teaching thing? I mean, I think that's sort of what we do every show, Earl. I don't know if we'll ever go much further than that, but the goal of the site is to kind of be like the equivalent of the con universities of the world and the code academies, where we teach you a skill. So
yeah.
Braves and Yankees fit well together, sure. I don't like the Braves though, but sure they do. Yankees and Houston fit poorly together, but I'm hoping that's what's going to win tonight. All right, people just doing lineups. Hill or Marquez, real fast.
Marquez.
Hill for me. If you can afford Hill, go to Hill.
All right, there you have it.
Have you guys talked about the Mariners? I have a decent amount of them. We haven't talked much about the Mariners. I don't mind them tonight. I think the lefties versus Montas is always a profitable spot to go, but I didn't quite get there a ton. What about you, Jake, with the Mariners?
I have very little Mariners. Oakland's bullpen is very respectable. Just a 4 total, tough place to hit. So it's not going to be with full stacks. The way I attack Montas, it'll be some Nelson Cruz and Mitch Haniger and Robinson Cano.
Yeah, Team McPhee points out Josh is going to have a new show too with I think with Waffy or maybe some rotating cast. But in the mornings after his show with Jake, he's going to be talking more about kind of bankroll management and the kind of nuts and bolts stuff of DFS. So that might fit your criteria.
Yeah, nuts and bolts.
Little nuts, little bolts. It's more of a casual hang kind of thing other times, but that one will be very, very information based and teaching based. All right, so we're locked. I guess any last questions that are worthwhile? Anything late slating that we should hit?
Yeah.
We will have late slate ownership projections up probably very shortly. I mean, they're probably already up, but they'll be updated. So go check those out. If you are playing the late slate, there are some games there, some pretty fertile games to play. So go check those out.
Of course.
All right, cool. And I think that's it. So keep an eye. There's a lot of stuff going on with the YouTube channel now. You might have seen the new show by A to B that was on today, talking about golf, talking about college football. We are going to be introducing new live streams and new shows, so go check those guys out. Go support them. Go throw them likes. Obviously, go throw us likes as well. Make sure to leave one right there for us so we feel loved and special. And go join Awesemo.com, become a premium member. All of the rankings, all the ownership projections that we discuss on every live stream will be available to you right at your fingertips. There's no better time than now. If you want to get in for NFL season as well, we have a promo code for all access for the season. If you want to get $20 off, it's code NFLA20. So go do that. Go join that. We're going to have a lot of great NFL content coming as well with our expanding team, our rapidly growing team. We're like little bunny rabbits. Any parting words for the folks tonight, Jake, before we go win some money?
Go Nolan Arenado in that Rockies stack. So hoping the Yankees stay quiet here. Unless they're in your guys' lineups, then whatever. I hope one of you guys win if the Yankees go off, because I certainly will not.
I'm greatly rooting for the Yankees and Gleyber Torres in particular. Go Gleyber. Great name.
Golf live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. Golf stream, that's right. Ben and Adam, I think, are the ones doing that. And maybe a third guy.
Andrew Barron, Ben Raza, the guys from FanDuel.
Okay,
Really good at what they do. They got a good show, and I'm tuning in. So I'm playing some PGA this week, and I'm excited to watch the show.
There you go. So go check out Andrew and Ben for that coming up just a few short hours if you want to go learn some golf stuff. And we'll see you again tomorrow with all the usual flow of content. And yeah, check your notifications, watch some stuff, check it all out. We are a thriving network. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you again soon. Good luck.